Viewers, welcome to the Policy Times, India's only channel on public policy and foreign affairs. India at a time when it is rising on the global footprint, in the global arena, understanding the international development and connecting with the international world is extremely important, and our current leadership, the political leadership, is quite active in that. So we as a responsible media also felt that why not to reach out to important stakeholders of the world and understand their point of view about India and about the world, and also understand what opportunities lies in their countries which India can leverage. Now today with me, I'm extremely again fortunate. We have the High Commissioner of the Republic of Malawi. We are sitting at the embassy in New Delhi. And Excellency, thank you so much for giving us time.
Thank you
For this interaction. So, Republic of Malawi in the southeastern of Africa is a very landlocked and small country with rich resources. It is bordered by Mozambique, Tanzania and Zambia like countries. And the total GDP of the country, as I told you, it's a small country with around 17 million population as per the 2016 estimates. Now, the GDP is around $6.5 billion in purchasing power parity. In a nominal GDP, it is around $6 billion actually in nominal terms. In purchasing power parity, it's around $22.5 billion. Now, Excellency, I want to start the conversation with the point that Malawi is known as the warm heart of Africa. How do you present Malawi to the international audience?
Thank you for coming to have a chat with me and for visiting the Malawi High Commission.
Thank you, Excellency.
Indeed, Malawi is called warm heart of Africa. It is given that description because as a country we are warm, we are receptive, we are available, we are there for people that want us. So if you come to Malawi, you ask somebody direction, they will tell you the correct direction. You ask a poor villager for a meal, they will use that poverty to find something to give you to eat. So those people, foreigners that have visited Malawi, would agree with me that I think it is the best place that one can think of wanting to go and settle, because the characteristics of the people, the characteristics of the weather, the characteristics of the government is so amenable to positivity in terms of decision making on where one should go or should not go.
Right. Excellency, we heard that there is a LakeMalawi which covers around 1/5 of the area, and which is a very nice tourism spot. So what kind of tourism opportunities lies in that country?
LakeMalawi is indeed, actually it's the third largest lake in Africa. It's a lake that has the biggest number of species of fish in the world, the whole world. If you want a lake that has the biggest number types of fish, that is LakeMalawi. So, as of now, we have only managed to identify and study about 700 species, but there are more and more and more. In terms of tourism, being a freshwater, being a lake that cuts across the country, it is one of our biggest tourist destinations. Of course, that's why when we are talking about tourism in Malawi, I think the discussion is incomplete without including LakeMalawi. However, we have egged investors from India and other countries to go to Malawi and invest in tourist facilities.
Right.
Good hotels, good golfing areas around the lake and good equipment, water sports and all that.
Right.
So the potential is there in terms of investing in the tourist area, and the Indian investors are invited to get this pristine resource and then make money.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Excellency, coming to the important part that Malawi will be, undergo election May 2019. So now, Malawi has also one of the few countries in the world which has gone election in 2014, where the president, Professor Peter Mutharika, became the president, and it was the first, I think, election where all the general election, national level election, domestic, municipal election, all elections took place together. What kind of message is, India has also been struggling with this format that there is one nation, one election. So, all elections should take place together. So what kind of message that comes out from this kind of format, and how transparency democracies can bring in through this kind of, one nation, one election process?
It starts from the warmth of the people. Malawi, warm heart of Africa, we believe in the rule of law, we believe in ourselves. When we agree to do something, we do it.
That's
and
excellent.
This is why, since we became independent in 1964, there haven't been any civil strife. We believe in dialogue and contract. When there's a problem, talk. And certainly talking is going to resolve something. So we made a decision that
That's excellent.
we're going to have tripartite elections, and we had tripartite elections, and they were, very successful. Starting with the 2009,
Right.
successful. 2014, successful. We are going to have, I'm sure, another round of successful elections on May 21st, 2009.
We wish the country all the best and to the leadership. Excellency, now coming to the real country's economic, socio-economic condition, Malawi is facing certain developmental challenges. The Human Development Index, its rank, we know that it ranks 170th out of 180 countries or 87 countries. People are suffering from some malnutrition or nutrition issues. The HIV remains one of the big challenge for the country. Now, given that situation, what are the kind of policies the current leadership is taking, and what is the support base of the international community to a country like Malawi in this context?
Well, we have a blueprint. We have the Malawi Growth and Development Strategy. In a document like that, we have highlighted everything that we want to do. And that document is in keeping with the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. It's also in keeping with the Agenda 2063 of the African Union. What we are saying is that starting with the youth, you have touched on the youth. They are the majority in terms of population.
Right.
We might not end up sending all of them to the universities because the slots in the universities are not adequate. The government has put up community colleges. So students that can't make it to the universities, some of them go to community colleges so that when they finish in those colleges, they can start their own small businesses as tinsmen or builders or carpenters. In the area of health, we have really stuck to the dictates of WHO. 15% of our budget goes to health.
Wow.
However,
it's a good percentage.
Because of the increase in population, sometimes the health resources might not reach everybody. But we have medical aid institutions, so people that have money can go and pay facilities. People that are very, very poor, they go to government hospitals which are free. The hospitals are not very bad. We have a 3-tier system from the health center level to the district central hospital to the central hospital. So it's a referral kind of system.
Okay.
If you have headache, you go to your health center, and if they can't handle it, they refer you to the district. If the district can't handle it, they refer you to the central hospital.
Right.
These are purely government facilities, but as I've said, we also have private facilities.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Christian health facilities. So people that have a bit of money would want to go to this place. Maybe they don't want to stand on the queue for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
That they are assisted. The area of HIV/AIDS, again, it used to be a crisis at one time, but now the figures have now plateaued. We are not the West. I mean, there are countries that are ahead of us in terms of the numbers. So we have managed to reduce the prevalence rate and antiretroviral submission is to any person that is found with the condition.
Right.
Is given ARVs. So that too has been managed. The areas of assistance, as you are aware, we we get loans from the World Bank, we get assistance from the International Monetary Fund, but we get those loans on our terms because we have a blueprint that guides our activities, and then we borrow where we cannot use local resources. We go to these institutions and knock on their doors to try to assist us top up on what we do not have. Yeah.
Now, coming to Indian context, several Malawian presidents have studied in Indian universities, and Indira Gandhi was the chief guest. He visited Malawi when the country was celebrating its first independence year. Several Malawian leaders have also visited India. Can you take us through the historical relationship between India and Malawi?
It is a long, long history, as you rightly mentioned. We have a railway in Malawi which starts from the commercial capital of the country to the some parts of the country.
Right.
When this railway was being constructed, the human resource was sourced from Gujarati.
I see.
So they came there to work and decided not to go back because already it was warm part of Africa. So they decided not to go, and they called their cousins, nephews, friends. As I'm talking now, we have a population of about 10,000 Malawians of Indian origins, because these are really Malawians.
No.
Yeah, they know more Malawi than they know about India.
Right.
These people, they have done very well. Indians, you work very, very hard. And they took that spirit and really worked very hard. They own banks, they own hospitals, they own pharmaceuticals, shops, and the bigger economic hub of the country is run and managed by this group of people. They have interrogated, you have Indian sports clubs in Malawi, you have gurudwaras for the Sikhs in Malawi.
Oh.
Yeah, mosques for the Muslims, So we live together with them. As I said, most of them are more Malawian than Indians. Some of them, they haven't been to India for last donkey years. So there's no any other country that they can call home apart from India. And because of that, the two governments decided to consolidate the diplomatic relationship by opening embassies.
Right.
So India has a mission in Lilongwe, and Malawi has a mission here in New Delhi. And during the life of these missions, a lot has happened. You are aware of the Indian government giving lines of credit to Malawi. They've given us several lines of credit. We now have a public sugar milling factory through the line of credit that was given by India. We have fuel
Excellent.
reserves in the 3 regions of the country using those resources. Water project from Mulanje to Blantyre using those resources. Now they have given us 215 million American dollars to upgrade our water system. On top of that, there are grants that they have provided.
Absolutely.
When His Honor, the Vice President, Shiri Naidu, visited Malawi last November, they gave us a lot of things. They gave us machines for treatment of cancer, the Babton, very expensive machine. They gave us ambulances, they gave us... The relationship has been very, very good and very transparent. In terms of trade, we get about 95% of our pharmaceuticals from India.
I see.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
We get a lot of agricultural mechanization stuff from India. We were exporting a lot of pigeon peas, a lot of our agricultural products to Malawi, to India. Unfortunately, both Malawi and India are agricultural countries and they produce similar products. For the last 2 years, India has done very well in the area of pigeon peas. They have overproduced. So they have a lot of it in stocks and they have reduced importing from countries like Malawi.
Right.
Yeah. But the trade is on and the contacts are on. The relationship is nice. We have India is now our biggest referral hospital. So in terms of medical tourism, it's up. Okay. Educational tourism, we have a lot of Malawian students studying in the Indian universities. As you said, one of our presidents and some of our ministers have studied here.
Right.
And,
Delhi University.
Yeah, Delhi University. So it's really been a very interesting journey, and I look forward to seeing it continue positively in a manner that it's taking.
So it's been quite a long time now you're in India. Now, what would be your priority areas that you would like to strengthen this relationship forward, given that around in 2016 the total trade, bilateral trade was $219 million, something now of that sort. How do you want to take this relationship forward?
I have emphasized the point that other than concentrate on trading, where somebody wants to ship spare parts for bicycles to Malawi, I think let's do more on the investment side.
Absolutely.
Investment has advantages of enhancing, employment opportunities, skill transfer, and all that. Whereas trading is really not a sustainable tool. So I believe in those people that have interest in Malawi, other African countries, to be people that can go and invest. Now, the question they ask is, they say, well, but population of Malawi is less than New Delhi. Why should I go there? You should go there because Malawi, when you set up in Malawi, you are not only servicing the 17.5 million.
Right.
You are setting up the people, Mozambique,
Absolutely.
because Malawi is surrounded by Mozambique.
Absolutely.
People from some provinces in Mozambique, they better go to Malawian towns, Malawian hospitals, than go to their own hospitals. Some people in Mozambique have to cross Malawi to go to the next Mozambican town. So Malawi is their place. Eastern Zambia,
right,
from Chipata to Lilongwe capital is 100 kilometers. From Chipata to Lusaka is maybe 400 or 500. So people go to
brilliant.
South of Tanzania, Mbeya. Mbeya is maybe 600-700 kilometers to Dar es Salaam. But to Karonga in Malawi, talking of maybe 200, 150. So the opportunities are that if you set up in Malawi, if it is a hospital, that hospital will be patronized by those countries, plus all SADC members through the free trade dynamics, and also members of the COMESA.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in terms of numbers, you're talking of close to 500
Right.
million.
So basically, if you are investing in Malawi, you are not investing in only Malawi.
No.
You are investing in Africa.
In Africa, yes.
So that's what.
Yeah. So you know, that's one area. The second area is try to reduce, not to stop, reduce the influx of people that are coming here for medical tourism, education tourism, by setting up some institutions in that part of the world. Because the people that come here are on a drop. I mean, not many people can afford to fly all the way from Malawi and come here for either education or health. It's only a select few. But if you have a facility in Malawi that can provide that service, people will pay because they'll be paying less than air ticket.
Yeah.
Similarly, education. If you have an institution in Malawi, people will pay.
So they'll great idea.
Yeah, less. They'll pay less the ticket to this place. So some of the issues that are good here, if we could transplant them, not in the entirety, the sizes that they have here, but in a reasonable size, so that they can go and save the people that part of the world.
Right.
I repeat, it is not possible for even a government to send all people that have kids that have cardiac wars or something to India. It's not possible. They can't afford. But if we had a facility that is handling that there, certainly government will
be interested to that and support.
So those are some of the areas that sitting here, one would encourage the people that have interest in Africa. And India now, the effort is really Africa. The current government is for really Africa. We had that India-Africa, summit,
right?
Yeah, in 2015. So this is the time really to aggrandize some of these ideas.
Absolutely. Excellency, just to conclude the interaction. So now India is rising as a power in the global context, and our relation is always positive and warm. What would be your message to the public of India, in a sense, being an ambassador, representative of Malawi? Or what you take forward from this country, and how do you see this country rising in this world?
When I answer that question, because you're not the first one to ask me that question,
Certainly.
I always respond it not as a diplomat, but I respond it as a development economist.
That's wonderful.
India is developing very satisfactorily, and it's really on the rise. And because it's on the rise, India should also look at its structures, its paraphernalia, for lack of a better word. Because
inclusivity.
Yeah, it's possible just to go to the moon.
Right.
And then you leave some people that are thinking.
That's a very important message.
100 and 200 years back, they are so primitive. They don't know that an Indian is a human being, an African is a human being, a European is a human being. They have problems in understanding that. Yeah. So yes, it's nice to go to the moon, but let us also make sure that the people in the country know some of the basic traits They understand that in this world, somebody can be a vegetarian. That's his or her choice. Somebody can be a non-vegetarian. That's his or her choice. Somebody will be drinking alcohol. Somebody will not drink alcohol. The democracy that we're talking about, the globalization that we're talking about, entails that you must understand. Otherwise, you can go to the moon, and then the structure is still very archaic, and people don't really know what is happening. I'm not saying that is there are certain people in this
beautiful country
that are not with that beauty. They are not flying. They have stopped, and then they are looking at as passengers. But you see, India is fantastic. I mean, India can compete with anybody.
Right.
And it's on the go. It's really going, and it will go, because it's got, as the Prime Minister says, it's got these 3 Ds: democracy, demand, and demography or something.
Dividend.
Demography, dividend. So these things are very important. I mean, this is the only country in the world where you have 1.3 billion people.
Right.
And then they have to vote.
They have to vote.
And things are happening.
Right.
Yeah, things are happening. So let these things happen, while the mind is also, something is also happening to the mind.
Excellent. So we had the High Commissioner of the Republic of Malawi. Just to summarize what the Excellency said, I'm really impressed that the Excellency didn't speak as an ambassador of a nation or High Commissioner of a nation. He spoke as a development economist. 4 or 5 areas that I clearly find which the Excellency brought out very well is that Malawi gives a very important lesson to imbibe immigrants and make them part of the society at a time when there is a lot of sensitivity with regards to migration issues in Europe, in India, in many part of the world. Second thing, Malawi presents an excellent transparent democracy where all elections took place. One nation, one election that many countries are aspiring. The country has adapted very well at this short span of time. And it definitely provides a lot of opportunities for nations like India. So thank you. Keep watching.